Well, the rubber's really hitting the road on the green agenda. The S&P Global Clean Energy Index, which measures the performance of companies in global clean energy-related businesses, well, that's down over 30% this year. This week, 2 massive offshore wind projects have been cancelled in New Jersey, that's in the States. And over in WA, a multi-billion-dollar wind and solar farm planned by Twiggy Forrest, well, that's gone too. Joining me now, my panel to discuss it all, former Resources Minister, Liberal National MP Keith Pitt, and the Deputy Executive Director at the Institute of Public Affairs, Daniel Wild. Well, Keith, a big call from Fortescue. I reckon it's reality, of course, that these things are going to be cancelled. Chris Bowen, though, he's not responding with actual power, baseload power to go in the grid, though, is he?
Reality is coming like a freight train, Peter. And if you look at these projects, the Sun Cable project, that big solar farm with an alleged connection to Singapore, headline for it, you get past that, and it says it wasn't technically or economically feasible. That was the reason for the decision. WA is very similar, trying to build these things in remote parts of the country where there's no infrastructure, no roads, no access, and you've got to clear great big swathes of it. But you're exactly right. Chris Bowen and Jim Chalmers, they've doubled down. They don't care about the cost. They don't care whether it's technically feasible. They don't care about the economics or who's paying. It's all about their ideology, and that's what they want to deliver.
Daniel, it's taken them well over 3 weeks. We had those Yes campaign leaders out today breaking their silence, making it very clear, despite the emphatic result on The Voice, they're still pushing for truth-telling and they're still pushing for treaties. And Rachel Perkins, she's one of the Yes 23 leaders, she said, The Voice is still an aspiration. She says it may not be achieved by referendum. Well, I doubt it will be. But she's saying it will be achieved, which I read as code, is we're going to demand it's legislated. We're going to, force the Labor Party to put it through the Parliament. What's your response?
Well, that's right, Peter. I mean, as we know, The Voice was a part of a package deal, Voice Treaty Truth, and the purpose of The Voice was clearly to be the counterparty to a treaty with the Commonwealth Government. It's not practical to negotiate a treaty with 300 or 400 separate communities or entities, so that was going to be the entree to the treaty. And then there's truth-telling, which in practice will mean some form of compensation or reparations payments. So, there's a very radically divisive strand of thought in our country at the moment, and I think the Prime Minister's got a real problem. He committed to all of this on election night. As you'll remember, the first thing he did was a welcome to country. The second thing he did was said, we're going to do Ullaru's statement, which is Voice Treaty Truth. And then eventually he got around to thanking the Australian people for having elected the Labor government. So this is out of step with the community. And I think Australians have simply had a gut full of this racially divisive politics, and they want us to move on from it.